Hey, so aside from answering the same questions over and over again, good day so far?
Yeah, it's a great day. You're my first, so I haven't answered any of the questions, so you get the freshest.
Oh, so the people after me are going to ask the same things. Okay, lucky you.
Yeah,
It's still coffee o'clock.
I know. I have this, and then I have bone broth because I have terrible snacks in my house. I was like, well, I don't know, that'll get if I get too hungry.
Do you work in an endorsement? Do you have a brand partnership that you say, give coupon code Erinn and get 15% off this bone broth?
Oh God, I hope after this one, maybe, right?
Well, thank you for doing this. Long time fan. And I say that because I first discovered you. I don't know if I first watched Children's Hospital first or I watched Worst Week first,
Oh,
which are two excellent comedies for different reasons. But you started out as more of a dramatic actress. What was your gateway to being in all these great ensemble comedies?
well, I didn't actually. I mean, Worst Week is not a drama. When I come out here, it's always been the comedy doors that opened up the easiest for me. And I was working on Worst Week when, and I had done a show with Rob Corddry before that called The Winner, and we became friends. We just hit it off like immediately. And he called me and was like, "Do you want to do this little web series?" So I asked for one day off of my fancy network sitcom to go do this little web series, Children's Hospital. And, that went away very fast. And 7 seasons and some Emmys later, we were still making the show, which was fantastic. I do think that show opened up so many doors for me because it's like comedy street cred, to have the show that everybody that is making shows watches.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's great to see that this movie is a reunion of you, Rob, Malin, because it's one of those shows, in my opinion, like Wet Hot American Summer, which David Wayne was also part of, where when
Yeah.
it came out, nobody immediately cared. Fast forward 5 years, and all the showrunners were watching it. As you said, it's another sleeper hit.
Yeah, it was great. This was such a wonderful experience. Mullen called me up and was like, "Hey, do you want to come shoot a movie in Los Angeles for no money, but but Rob's going to be your husband, and I'm trying to get all these other people." I was like, "Absolutely." Like, it's not traveling out of town. I was out of town when she had called me and was like, "Oh my God, yes, absolutely." And it really was so much fun. I mean, shooting it and doing the scenes, that was fun, but just like, these low budget movies, they don't have money for trailers. So there's like one big room in the house we're shooting at, and all of us are sitting in there doing bits. You've got Ryan Hansen and Beth Dover, who is also in Children's Hospital, and Cedric Yarborough, and Rizwan. I mean, like, just Dana Doot, Patty Guggenheim, like everybody is so hilarious. So it was
Yep.
like I felt giddy every day going to work just because I knew I would be laughing really hard.
Were any of the scenes filmed in any of the houses of the people in the film? It's tough to tell in Los Angeles that could be their house and they're saving the
Yeah,
$5,000 a day location fee.
yeah, right. Like yeah. Did you watch Language Lessons with Mark Duplass and Natalie Morales?
I mean,
That's
Mark,
in it was in their old house, gorgeous house. No, it was one location. I think it was one of these houses out in the valley that is built like to lure in like there was a full basketball court. Like I think it's like where like traveling athletes come and rent out these beautiful modern houses. So we all just got to hang in the screening room. But no, it wasn't any of our houses.
oh, is there a site to check to like what other movies were filmed in that house?
Oh God, I have no idea. That would be a good one, right?
Well, hey, either way, back to you.
Wiki locations.
That works. Well, you can have the trademark, but I was in the room when the idea was crafted, so I think I did
Sorry.
a third of it. It's something like
Sorry, I've been down here underneath.
well, so back to you in this film. Was
Yeah.
it a COVID era film? And I say that it looks like it because you don't see a lot of people in any of the scenes. You see like four people
Yeah.
at most.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's COVID and it's also it's a low budget movie. We don't have money for extras. You got to just frame them out, frame the conversation, frame them out, imply that there are more people. It was just, yeah, I mean, it's a COVID era movie in the way that you have the on-set person coming around going, Erinn, I really do need you to put your mask back on. I was like, what? Talk to the same people I was just filming the scene with without my mask on. If we're going to get it, we're going to get it. And we did have some people go down, which is inevitable. It always happens. Towards the end. And it was a bummer because they had to like figure out different ways to wrap up certain storylines with some of the party guests.
As a casual viewer, it looks like there's a lot, even though the comedy is very tight in there, that there was improv going on. Is it a mix of improv and script?
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, I have fuzz on my face. Yes, it was fun. And you know what? A lot of them made it in. When I was watching it, it was very fun, especially with my character, because of the fact that, you know, like a quarter of the way through the movie, my character accidentally drinks a cup that has been laced with Molly. So then she's just high the whole movie. And I kind of got to, you know, say whatever I want. Tom was like, yeah, whatever, you know, throw a button on the end of the scene, say what you want, say, you know. So it was very loose like that, which I think it's a plus when you're working with a lot of very funny people who also write and create a lot of their own stuff and do improv. That if it's good, keep it in. If you've got good players, let them play.
Well, speaking of Molly, not what you were necessarily referencing right there.
Yeah.
Your work on Kevin Can F Himself.
Oh,
to me, the character was named Molly, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. One of my favorite things that you ever did, because obviously there was a lot of meaning behind the casting and the character.
Yeah.
Did that feel like a good karmic justice thing? And you don't have to throw anyone under the bus.
It was okay. Oh, I don't care. It did feel like it was very full circle.
Yeah.
I guess in this way of, and you know, when that show started, I did know, I was like, oh, this is very obviously inspired by me getting fired. So then when they called me and I talked to Valerie about coming on and doing the last episode, she was like, she's like, I didn't want to hope. I did name the character Erinn at first, but then I changed it to Molly because I didn't want to jinx it. And she was like, do you think you would? I'm like, yes, absolutely. Come on and get to like leave him. Sounds great. And it was fun. I mean, their show, they just did it so smartly and so well. So getting to come on at the end was quite fulfilling. Be sure.
That show was innovative in that not only was well written and great, but it really tore apart the sitcom formula, which sometimes you've been part of, and then other times you've been part of things that have been anti that formula. So it's really cool to see that in your career that you could do broad comedy, you can do alt comedy, that you're not pigeonholed to one dimension. And that's a compliment. That's not a question. Yeah,
no. Well, thank you for the compliment. It's interesting. I think there are so many actors out there who can do all these different things, but it's about what you're given the opportunity to show. And that's why, like, coming back to Children's Hospital, that I'm so like forever grateful to Rob, because he let me show the world that like as fun as Worst Week was, it was the girlfriend, it was the wife, you know, like she was funny, but she was not large and like there was no, the bigger comedy was for the guy, for Kyle. And so it was like, oh yeah, no, I like all this. And so that opened all those doors so that I could have the opportunities down the road to continue to do it, because nobody ever really wants to let you do it unless they've already seen you do it. Drama casting people.
Well, that actually is one of my theories, that there's no such thing as a bad comedian when it comes to acting. Every rapper can act, every wrestler can act, and every comedian can act.
Yeah, it's true. I do. I think it definitely goes the way that most comedic actors are pretty decent dramatic actors, because you have to understand it. It does not go the other way.
Yes.
It does not go that every drama actor can do comedy. Thankfully. Like, come on, you know, if you're going to be so good at drama, leave something for the rest of us.
anytime that you see a comedian and they go, oh, that was the worst acting I've seen, it's just because the script was bad. Like, I think that Carrot Top, if he wanted, could have that role in him. He just needs
I'm
the
not
right script.
saying that every stand-up comedian is going to be a good dramatic actor. I'm saying that every comedic actor, that's a bold statement. You're all in for Carrot Top's like dramatic, you're all in for his uncut gems.
I'm not saying chairman of the board too would be good. But when you think about it, if the person is on stage being a character that has nothing to do with the second that they leave the stage, they're acting. So therefore, every comic has that in them. Whether or not they know that they're acting is a different story.
All right. Okay.
But
listen, I'm going to let you have that one.
but back to you. Did you ever try stand up in your early days of doing improv?
I never did. It's one of the like stand up and just like writing. I've always found like, oh, like maybe I could throw together 5 minutes that, a couple things will come up and I'll tell a story and someone's like, it's like a stand up. But like the always coming up with new material thing or like always writing scripts or whatever, I don't have that in me, that like motor to always be producing stuff. When I did sketch comedy for a while when I first came out to LA, and it was like pulling teeth to just get those sketches written. So I'm like, I don't know. That's like not, I would rather get a script and improvise a little bit, or every once in a while have an idea that I make with a friend or make a short or something like that. But not really, no.
So in your career, we've seen you evolve in doing stuff. And as you mentioned before, you'd like to do dramatic work if it's a great script. But do you have that in you that you eventually do want to produce your own stuff? Or is it the same thing as the sketch comedy where that's a lot of work?
Yeah, I mean, sure. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm also just kind of starting to open the doors towards directing, which like whenever I'm on like a sitcom set, I'm like, ooh, that looks fun too. I also want to be over there. And have started kind of not tentatively, I'm going for it. For like, single camera comedies as well. That's really where right now my mind is at in terms of the next door to open in my career. Mostly because I get on sets and I'm like, why are they doing it that way? We should be doing it this way. She should be saying it like that. Like I have ideas and I would like to see them. I'd like to see how that goes.
So when I was saying before that you got your start in drama, that wasn't mean to mislead. It was more like you did your procedurals, your mandatory, hey, here's your CSI thing. If you find a comic that wasn't on SVU, that's surprising. So
I never did because I didn't live in New York, but I did do this really terrible horror movie when I first came out here. Like I submitted myself through Backstage West. I was one of my first auditions. I went, I booked it, I shot it. It's called Final Stab. You will never get that time in your life back if you watch it. But at this point, it is so bad that it might be worth it. Like it's really at some point you see the whole crew in my sunglasses. We like pull out our cell phones and it's literally like beep, boop, 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 boop. Like pull, like it's like a car phone that you're pulling. It's so hilarious.
It's like everything that children's hospitals making fun of, only accidentally shown.
Yeah.
Okay, so wrapping this up into the last two questions here. Donor party, new movie. Are you allowed to say what's next, or is this just the thing that you're going to be shouting out about for the next?
Oh no. I mean, I think I'm not exactly sure when it's premiering because it's animated, but I am a voice on a new Fox animated half hour that's coming out pretty soon. We've kind of finished their animating and doing everything for season 1. It's with John Hamm, called Grimsburg. And it's like a town where everybody dies all the time. And so there's just like, it's all about the detectives. And then I play his ex-wife, who is the town reporter, but I was raised by bears. So I'm looking forward to that. We start voicing the second season pretty soon. And yeah, that right now, that's kind of, and then that and Donor Party are my things. And then, hey, Hollywood, I'm available.
Now I know. And the last question, when we look up Erinn Hayes and we go, okay, let's go on Wikipedia. Okay, she's from there. Okay, that's the husband, that's the kids,
Yeah.
there's the work. We don't know what you are actually interested in musically. Do you have a favorite artist? What are you into?
I'm trying to think of what I listened to lately. I mean, I'm always like, I'm pretty of the era that like grew up consistently listening to Neutral Milk Hotel and Belle and Sebastian and like Modest Mouse. And I just went to their like Lonesome Crowded West tour where they literally just played Lonesome Crowded West and then they popped in some other songs. And I had all the feelings because I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm 19 years old again. And I'm like in college and the whole world is ahead of us. And nobody's been disappointed by life. And it's like, I was so deeply emotional. Lately I've been listening to a lot of like, my favorite Pandora station, because I do still listen to Pandora, that might age me, is Cautious Clay.
Yeah.
That one brings up some good ones, as does the Childish Gambino station. Those two, and like a Helado Negro, those are kind of, yeah.
I wouldn't have pegged you as the Elephant Six type, but wow, we are learning new things, apples and Cisco and all that. But Erinn, thank you for the many years of great work and looking forward to whatever's coming next, and hope you get that bone broth sponsorship soon.
Oh God, guys, I gotta drink it up. Get your protein in a cup. Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
Paltrocast.